Okay guys, so today we're going to make some Chinese steamed pork buns. So let's get started with making our dough for our buns, and then we'll go about seasoning our minced pork. What I would mention to you is that because I am gluten-free, unfortunately I can't get any gluten-free oyster sauce. But if you are not gluten-free, when you're seasoning your pork, you can use regular oyster sauce. So my seasoning today will not have oyster sauce, but traditionally you would put oyster sauce when you're seasoning your pork. So let's get started. For those of you who are gluten sensitive, I would leave a link in the description below showing you where you can purchase some gluten-free oyster sauce. So be sure to check that out. So we're going to add 2 cups of flour to our mixing bowl, 1 teaspoon of yeast, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and that's it. Now I'm just putting on my paddle. Now I have to apologize because I did not realize that my camera was not filming when I added the water. So this would take about between 3/4 to a cup of water. Okay guys, so now that our dough is finished kneading, we left it to knead for about 8 minutes. I'm just going to form it into a ball, and I'm going to leave it right in this bowl here to rest for a few hours. Just going to form this into a ball. Let me just do it down here so you can see. Right, so just forming it into a ball. And then I'm just going to leave it to rest for a few hours. Okay, so this is our dough for our buns. Okay guys, so now we're gonna see about making our buns now. So we have our flour here that has risen, as you can see. We're just gonna put it out onto our work surface. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour here. We're gonna put it out and we're gonna roll it out, and then we're gonna form it into our little wrappers in order to put our minced pork inside. So let's get it out onto our work surface here in order to work with it. All right. So we just want to get all the air out of it. All right, so what I'm going to do is use my rolling pin and roll it out. Okay, I'm now going to half it. I'm going to roll it again. Okay, I'm going to fold it in. I'm going to roll it again. All right, just going to fold it in one more time, like that. And I'm going to roll it out again. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is roll up my dough. Let me see, should I do it this way? Maybe I can roll it in this way. So I'm just going to roll it in like that. Okay, good. All right. I'm just going to get a knife now, and I'm going to cut my dough into sections. I'd have to join this up. Okay. I'm going to add this piece with this piece. Okay, So now that I have my pieces here, what we're going to do is now work on our wrapper. So to do that, I'm just going to sprinkle a little more flour here. Okay, so I'm going to work with this first one here. So I'm just going to press it out, and then I'm just going to bring in the side so I can get a nice ball to work with. Okay, all right, like that. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now that I have the ball, I'm just going to like press it down. Press it down to a circle. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take my rolling pin, and let me just move these to the side. Okay, so I'm just going to take my rolling pin. I'm going to try to press this out a little more. I'm going to hold the middle here, because what we want to do, we want the middle part to be thicker, because that's where we're going to rest our filling. So we want the middle part to be thicker, but the ends to be thin. So we're just going to hold it here, take our rolling pin, and kind of spin and press out the sides. Okay, so you see what we did there? We keep in the middle thicker, but the ends thin. So that's what we want to do. So we're going to do that with all of them, and then we're going to fill it with our pork filling. Okay guys, I'm going to get to rolling out the rest of these, and then we'll be back when I'm ready to fill it. Okay guys, so let's get to seasoning our pork. So here I have some minced pork in my bowl. So I'm just going to add a half a teaspoon of ginger powder. I'm going to add a quarter teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of gluten-free soy sauce. This is tamari. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of rice cooking wine. I'm going to add a quarter teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. I'm going to add 3 cloves of crushed garlic and some spring onions. I'm going to start mixing this together. I'm also going to add half cup of chicken broth. But let me just get this mixed together, and then I'm going to add in my chicken broth. Now you can add water if you wish. I'm using 33% less sodium chicken broth. So according to what chicken broth you use, you might have to adjust your soy sauce for saltiness. But the reason why I'm using chicken broth and not regular water is that the chicken broth would help to bring a little more flavor to it. If you are not gluten sensitive, then you would also add in about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. Of course, if you're using the oyster sauce, then you want to make sure that your chicken broth has less sodium in it, or just use regular water. Okay, we're also going to add 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. So let's do that now. Okay, so I'm gonna add in my chicken broth slowly and mix everything together. We want all the liquid to be absorbed. You know what, guys? I think I'm not going to add any more of the chicken broth. So I just used about a quarter cup of chicken broth for this. I think this is good enough. I think it looks nice and moist enough. So this is our seasoning. This is our pork here. It's seasoned already now. So we're just going to cover it with some plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator to marinate for a few hours. Okay guys, so now that our meat has finished marinating, we're now going to fill our wrappers. So we will just put a little bit of the meat in the middle, and then we're going to pinch the dough together in order to make our buns. Now doing this part is pretty tricky. What we basically want to do is make some pleats. So we want to pleat the dough going all the way around and still trying to keep the filling in the middle. Now I am not a professional in doing this. You would see in the end it is very tricky. It's not as simple as it may seem. So just do the best that you can in closing up your wrapper. Okay, my own is not looking as pretty as it should, but I'm trying my best. Okay, so I'm just going to get to fill in the rest of the wrappers, and then we'll be back when we reach the stage of having to steam them on the stove. Okay guys, so here we have our pork buns. We're just going to leave this now. I have a pot with some water that I had boiled, and I'm just going to rest my steamer over it. It's not on, but the water is just warm, and I'm just going to leave my buns to rest for about half an hour so that they can proof again. Okay guys, so we have put our buns were in our steamer resting. I've now since turned on the fire. I waited until I started to see steam coming off, and then I put on my timer for 15 minutes. So you want to steam your buns for between 15 to 20 minutes. Okay guys, so my buns have been steaming for about 18 minutes now, so I'm just going to turn off the flame, but I'm not going to open it just yet. I'm just going to leave it here to rest with the flame off for about 3 minutes, and then I will open it. Okay guys, so our Chinese steamed pork buns are now completed. Once again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell notification, and give the video the thumbs up. See you in my next video. Bye for now.